Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of the Call of Flag Talk podcast. It's your boy John, and as always, we are here to discuss the latest in football. As we go further down the line and we get closer to the finish line, you start to see other people drop away, and therefore there were only two that were remaining, and it's me and Virgil. Was it good, my guy?
Yeah, like as you say, yes, feel like all the weaklings just fall off. So it just really go down to what it was meant to be.
I mean, hey, to be fair, Brandon really had something to do today. It was already pre-planned. It's not that he stayed away because they lost, but we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into all the action across the weekend. We're gonna talk about the leagues as well. I know we didn't do it last time, and we're gonna talk about the draw in the Champions League. And so we get straight into it. Obviously, the headline game this weekend was Arsenal versus Chelsea, with three goals scored by Arsenal. They had the score finished 2-1. Funny that. And all three goals covered from set pieces as well. That means that with that, and with also City's result this weekend, it meant that the table remained as is, with for Arsenal to 5 points ahead with a game in hand, or a game played more rather over Man City. Um, but with Arsenal, 9 games remaining, and City, 10 games remaining. So we really getting down to the crunch time. So, Virgil, what you thought about the Arsenal versus Chelsea game,
Where do I start with that game?
bro?
Honestly, going into this, this is a back-to-back London clash for Arsenal,
Yeah.
and I felt that Chelsea honestly put up a much better fight than Spurs did last week.
Oh, yeah.
But the only negative thing I had from a Chelsea point of view going into this, I still feel that Rosinha got that lineup wrong
Mm.
because Chelsea were there were moments in time where Chelsea were looking good, but I think it's like there was a whole 20-minute spell first half where Arsenal were just dominant on the ball and Chelsea wasn't getting no chances. So for this game to even finish with Arsenal with, I would say, even if Arsenal had just like one goal, I feel like honestly would have been impossible the way how Arsenal was playing. Set piece and stuff aside, Arsenal did create a lot of chances. Like Arsenal honestly did create a lot of chances outside the set pieces. So but
Yeah.
for me, I will also look at it like we having to rely on this whole set piece thing. But if it's something you're good at, why change it? But for me, from the Chelsea point of view, I really feel that to have that one piece outlet in Neto, who I honestly find was not really utilizing his strengths. And you also had somebody like Garnacho. I felt like the way that they went in the cup felt like a much better lineup. But I also felt like
You
I
had
felt like
you see the clip from Gary Neville this week calling Petronetto like Hazard,
oh yeah,
and
yeah,
reports about it just said no,
yeah, like no, no,
no.
please.
Like, come on, bro. What we doing here?
Yeah, even down to the likes of having the lap on the bench, I felt like you would want these players to come on and Arsenal's this team where you have to bring physicality towards them. So to keep them on the bench and also for the likes of bringing on Ganacho and bringing on making these impactful subs so late, like in the 81st minute, it didn't really make sense. So it really come down to
Mm-hmm.
we have the Arsenal was just better on the field. Quality was just better, and tactically, Arsenal know what they're good at. Arsenal know what their strengths are. You can't beat Arsenal at their own game. Arsenal played the game
Mm-hmm.
how they want to play. They were in full control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, bro. I mean, look, Brandon sent my 5 minute voice, no, guys, and my intention, I was gonna include it. Then I listened to it, and by the time I cut out all the expletives, guys, it would have had much left of a voice, so to put it, should be said, right? And he said that he didn't find either team play good. And look, I would totally get why somebody would say that, and I wouldn't say that we played great either. I actually felt extraordinarily frustrated, like, because to me, we kept winning back the ball, we kept getting chances to counter press them, and it's like people just making constant bad decisions over and over and over and over. I mean, bro, like Trossard to me was like the biggest culprit of it all, though. Like he was so bad today. Um, like making decisions going forward. Gyökeres, I thought like The ball already wasn't sticking to him, and a few times it did, he started getting a little excited. Man started try to run with the ball. He tried some fancy
Yeah.
passes on it, and I'm like, bro, this is not your game. This is not Spurs. Like, take it down a notch. Like, he had one bro that he had to win in the second half, and he just had to run forward the ball. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
well, where are you going? Like, I was so confused. Like, even Eze as well, I thought there was a lot of opportunities for Arsenal to put the game out of sight, and it was so unprofessional with the way that we were treating some of these opportunities, and we were literally asking for Chelsea to get a goal back, and they did. The way the second half started, I thought Chelsea started the second half better than we did, but ultimately we get a little bit more momentum. We won a free kick high up, got a corner off, and ended up scoring it. And look, I think I've said this before that Arsenal aren't at the cohesive best that they should be. However, the only way that they get that is by these players playing together more. This is the first time in God knows how long Arsenal have played an unchanged attack, and these fellas just need to keep gelling. However, at the same time, we are the business end of the season, but we'll talk about City too. But like, Virgil, like we were right, neither we really care too much about the performance at this point. Get me them 3 points. Get them 3 points and let me keep going because there's 9 games left, bro. And they have nothing like develop style and stuff at this point. And that doesn't mean that you just sludge out every game. I think that the execution needs to be better because they're gonna be teams that aren't as poor as Chelsea have been today when we're going forward because we're gonna talk about Champions League and stuff like that. And if you have ambitions to do those things, you need to sharpen up those things in the final third. I mean, real though, this is why after last week, Virgil, I didn't really like go big on praise and Gyökeres because like even though like I just mentioned that as I think had some plenty moments either top of the box or around that area to shoot, and he's obviously one of the best shooters we have, and I'm really frustrated with that. I still think Eze had a really solid game from retaining the ball, keeping the passes going, winning fouls, being a release valve. I thought he was really, really, really good at that. But the reason I didn't go big on Gyökeres after the Tottenham game was like, let me just see against a better team. Let me see it there first because like Tottenham are really bad. They lost to Fulham this weekend. They really are in a relegation scrap as it stands. Let me see that against a different team. And yeah, bro, it wasn't something right to walk. But in terms of Chelsea, because I think they had a bigger problem coming out of this. Arsenal in their last 11 games against Chelsea Football Club, Chelsea lost 2-4 to Arsenal. Then it was a 1-0 win for Arsenal. Then a 3-1 win for Arsenal. Then a 2-all draw at Stamford Bridge. Then a 5-0 win for Arsenal. Then a 1-all draw at Stamford Bridge. Then a 1-0 Arsenal win. Then a 1-all draw again at Stamford Bridge. Then a 2-3 win for the Arsenal. Then a 1-0 win for the Arsenal. And then a 2-1 win for Arsenal today. Which means in the last 11 games, Chelsea have failed to secure a single win at Arsenal over these last few years. And I mean, if you told an Arsenal fan that 10 years ago, bro, they'd have watched in disbelief because I remember those days it felt like you couldn't get a win over Chelsea for nothing.
Mm.
And I mean, like in the midst of Arsenal definitely to win some of the season with Jordan, I'm not mitigating any of that. Like these are the little things that I think Arsenal fans take for granted. Like I expect 3 points versus Chelsea every like Chelsea, Spurs, and United every single time we play them. I expect 3 points. Like it is and I don't think that it comes from a place of like arrogance or like this record speaks for itself, right? Tottenham we just win like 6 in a row versus them, some kind of thing like that. Like United obviously get a result versus us, but I was their first one in 10 years, something like that. And so like it has got to the point that these are the kind of results that I expect, but it was a diabolical showing because I mean like we talk about Arsenal and we talk about there was poor execution of chances, but the chances was there. I felt like Chelsea didn't really give anything. And just in the end, it felt tense because it was late in the game. It was a 1-goal margin, and they were just throwing the ball forward. But with the exception of a very clear offside moment that happened, it was nothing, and they didn't
Mm-hmm.
really have much to offer. Last week we put that clip from Brandon, and he put it out, and I made sure it was Brandon that said it, guys. That a Chelsea fan was who said it. Talk about Cole Palmer. Virgil, he was hot trash. He was terrible.
Yeah,
Like I
try.
actually think. Enzo, João Pedro are the only two I think came out of this game with some credit in terms of the fouls and attack. Because like I thought Reese was pretty good, but like the rest of them by Virgil, terrible. And I mean, this is the
Yeah.
first time Cole Palmer is playing Arsenal in the league at the Emirates. He was hoping that he could have finally be the person to spin the pendulum for them, but he was absolutely non-existent. And honestly, when he went down with that little injury in the first half, my head already went to, yeah, bro, he just can't come off. He not in this. He not for this. And he stayed on in it, but nothing changed.
Because
So,
honestly,
I mean, yeah.
when Palmer went down, I honestly felt that if he came off, Chelsea would have probably looked a lot better, depending who they brought on. Like if they brought on Garnacho, you could put Enzo back in the position he was playing when Palmer was out. But I feel like for what Chelsea was trying to do, like they had Palmer playing close to João Pedro, so those two could work off each other. But it also had Enzo outside drifting more out wide. And I just felt that, Enzo just feel we just waste. We just feel like Palmer being on that pitch, we're just wasting Enzo out wide. So
Mhm.
I just say, yeah, you will look at you in this game, you'll look towards players like Palmer to be the star man for this game, or the one to actually
Yeah.
lead Chelsea if they are to get 3 points.
No, that's the
But
thing, right? But just like forget like I know you're saying this thing I'm gonna say here, but like
mhm,
if we remove the term star, like we just want somebody who can step up, right, and show ownership with the
basically,
team, and it just was not there. It was so lackluster, bro. Like I thought João Pedro did decent to be an outlet for them at times. That's why I say I think he came up with some credit. I thought Enzo did decent to release the ball a few times, but like bro, like Pedro Neto, bro. Chelsea have a discipline problem, Virgil, going all the way back to Pochettino. I don't know even then talk about discipline problem. But imagine you just got yellow. You're fresh off a yellow. And I remember who it is had got a red card recently, but was it against all, yeah? Dog, somebody had got a red card in some game recently. It could have been a United game or something. I really can't remember. But I
yeah,
remember even
yeah. I
then.
think I know they play 10 men against United.
And somebody had got yellow, and then 2 minutes later make a stupid foul and got a second yellow. And in my head, I was like, no, these men brain don't work out. Like some of these professional footballers, like
Hmm.
you just get booked. You can't. You would not get away with our next bad tackle. Like that's the whole point of being booked, right? And Pedro, you just get yellow carded. What are you doing? Like be real, right? Martin in this biggest set of form. Just let him go. just let him go.
Hmm.
Like you hamstring your team. From then it felt like it was a formality, And while like I have my nerves of I want to win this title, I very much want to win this title. I want the 3 points and I want to see it over the line. I genuinely wasn't that forced to think like, Chelsea gonna get something here. Chelsea from open play through the entire game didn't really do anything. To say like trouble us or anything like that. And so, last week Brandon spoke about that, Chelsea have a real bad run of fixtures and they do. Dog, we see what our win for United did for them this weekend and win for Liverpool did for them this weekend. Bro, I really think Chelsea and Villa, who ironically enough play against each other in this midweek coming up here, gonna end up having a straight out shootout for who gonna make that last spot. And
Yeah.
it's starting to feel more and more inevitable that is going to be the case here because it really isn't looking good. And I can't tell you where the change is coming for Chelsea. Like, I tweeted this out this week, Virgil, and this is more like a larger point at this game, right? This league's current state is such that it is the most punishing of you of missed chances because of how athletically dominant teams have become across the middle to the lower tier league, as well as how defensively resolute they have become. Again, you just played Leeds, right? Right, Virgil, like you didn't have a set of chances. You had to take your chances, and I show Virgil every single
Hmm.
time. Like in the second half, and I really don't want to get into City games yet, but like Chucky, I thought had a real strong second half for you, all right, and real playing them slipping men, and men just not reading it, men not doing anything, and men not getting on the end, and it's frustrating you because you know how fine the margins are this season, because teams aren't just open anymore. Teams are just giving you chances. And I think like Chelsea have this ongoing issue of not killing off teams and not being able to keep teams like back at all. You know, like if you watch these last few league games, they lost to us, they drew at Burnley, they drew it with Leeds, and it feel like they ride out the new manager bounce with Rosinha, and now it coming back to a screeching halt here. And with the fixtures they have coming up, it really makes you wonder like, do we go from Chelsea beating Barca and then the talk was title talk for them in November to Europa League for them next year? Is that what we're
Hmm.
looking at? And that looks like it's a real possibility.
Yeah.
So again, I guess my question then to you is, do you see them turning it around? And even if you don't see them, like answer that part first. And then the next part would be like, how can they go about turning around this form?
Honestly, going back to the the top five or top five race,
Mm-hmm.
both teams in the likes of Aston Villa and Chelsea, both trying their best to sabotage themselves. And I honestly feel like for Chelsea, it's continuing for what we said last week. We feel like these players they have this lack of urgency. They feel like they don't really realize the position they're in right now, or what they're kind of throwing away. So the the likelihood for Chelsea to finish in Champions League is becoming less and less likely, like as the season go on, especially the fixtures that they have coming up, not making it any easier. But if I have to think of some way for the Chelsea team to turn it around, there were points in the early part of the season when, not just when Palmer was out. We know Chelsea had this good run of form. They had this good
Mm-hmm.
the way how they're playing. The midfield was very important in that run.
Yeah.
But I feel like for right now, going back to even to my problem too with this game, for that lineup, Chelsea honestly have to find a good balance for who is the best 11 that they have, but they also have to line it up in a way of
Well,
being
funny enough,
up.
Virgil, in the voice note that
Mhm.
Brandon sent me, he said whether men like it or not, he was playing better before Palmer reaching it. Now he was saying
Exactly.
like they had issues and stuff like that, but the injury that caused Palmer to be out meant that they picked a 11 that was working. You know, like I'm not sure what's going on with Esteban now. I think he's struggling with something, so I think he's out right now. But like as you say, right, we see Enzo Fernandez playing left wing today.
Yeah.
Why? For what? You know, like it does feel very unbalanced. And Enzo, I think, has been one of the players of the season this year. You know, and so you're pushing him off for somebody who you believe should be a best player. But I don't know if this is where you're going to get, because I know you're talking about finding the best 11, but like I genuinely think for me we in drop Palmer territory.
Yeah, because I feel like Chelsea have a lot of other attacking players. I feel like they need to go to these games and be as attacking as they could be. Like they have
Yeah,
those players they have to throw. But when Palmer is in the side, it's like little change you could do because they have a certain because
yeah.
Palmer is going to occupy that middle, and the way Palmer plays, it is going to affect other players that are on the bench. You see certain players you can't see playing well with Palmer because of how he plays. He plays close to the striker, and most times he's the one who even might try to. If in a world where the striker was doing the whole of play and have Palmer the one running behind, then yeah, that'll be great for Palmer. But it's just not best. It's not the best for the team. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of attacking personnel that they could throw on and cause a lot more threat. But it just seems when Palmer's on that pitch, they try their best to link everything up. Through Palmer, link everything up. Palmer has to be at the heart of those attacks. And
Mm-hmm.
quite frankly, Palmer is not really making the most of those chances. He looks very wasteful. He looks the urgency is not there. Palmer, when it comes to that how long it takes to hold on to that ball, there's so much time Palmer holds on to that ball and kills the play.
Yeah,
So
money.
it is going to affect all the players around.
I mean, going into the Villa game for them, obviously Pedro Neto is suspended. So I think Palmer kind of has to start because I see here both Gittins and Esteban are out. So I guess Palmer has to start. Garnacho is starting next week. So yeah, I mean, you would assume that that means that Palmer would go on the right thing. Yeah. But I mean, when I watched the lineup today, I thought Palmer was right. I thought Neto was left wing, and then when I saw Enzo
Yeah,
starting left wing, I was like, all right.
yeah. I really
I
thought
mean,
Palmer
sorry,
was going to be
like
out wide.
Timber had his easiest game that he had in a very long time today.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is so for real. Um, in terms of Arsenal, I mean, look, I really had the point now by where I just want to get 3 points and keep going. In terms of concerns, I would like Kai Havertz to be fit. Like seriously, that is what like hear this right. We played all the so this weekend is FA Cup, then next weekend is Premier League, and then the weekend after is the Carabao Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
All I want Kai to start like 2 games leading up to playing all there so that I know that he fit and ready to play against all there because Kai Havertz record winning against City is very good. Like to keep that going.
Okay, okay.
And yeah, because if Hadassah Gyoker is wrestling for the bro, like you know what's the thing, right? I was very open and like I don't hide the fact that I'm a big fan of Kai, right? But I was very open to get an upgrade on this man in the summer. However, I really didn't think we could have downgraded this bad in some ways. So I'm not gonna be wrong, eh? Kai would never score the 2 goals that Gyoker scored against Spurs, eh? I shouldn't say never because I remember last year seeing Kai actually shooting from outside the box. But that is not his type of goals. However, what we lose Virgil and everything else, I need that back. I thought Hato had a really good game against Saka today, even
Yeah.
though I think Saka, like, he needs to be doing more in penalty. Like, I'm not denying that. But, like, again, I think everything besides finishing has been very good. We create more enough opportunities for these other men who then get any chances, like Eze, who had wanted to fall to not doing as much as he should.
Mm-hmm.
But going into the for our next game, my request would be, bro, I just want to keep the same lineup going. Keep the same men, let them keep gelling until I know for sure that Kai fit to start games. Keep these same men going, let them build some understanding one another. I thought also Hinkapi had another great game. However, I don't know why. So like, don't get me wrong. I think Hinkapi the last like couple of games has been very good. But something about the way he played by the time real uneasy. I can't explain it. Like I don't. He's never made me feel like he in control of a situation, and like that has never made me feel like comfortable. But he's doing plenty good, and he actually played some good balls in the box today, and he passes forward really well. And I think he has a little extra pace, right? That I would really like to see him start with Ezzy on the left wing and see how they could help bring the most out of each other. So yeah. Oh, and big up Raya. So Raya had a real good game because like I remember afterwards I was very harsh on him, but I thought today he was really really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, with that, let's pick 2 men from this now. Well, two defenders scored, and that is not the only reason I want to put him in, but I thought both Saliba and Timber had very, very strong games.
Yeah.
I thought Timber was great going forward. Again, put some good ball in the box. Dog, like, you see all this wise is doing, time for this Gyökeres, man. But, again, get catch hiding behind defenders. But yeah. So yeah, you cool with Timber and Saliba?
Yeah, I feel like it's only right.
Nice. I really did think Reece James had a good game in possession. Not all the possession. Trossard, as I think Cappy had him kind of all over the place. But again, we didn't make it count, so nobody got really talk about
Mm-hmm.
it. However, we can switch over to you guys who won 1-0 at Leeds. And again, I'll be honest, Leeds away is one of their fixtures I was hoping would have been drop points. And Virgil, I don't know if you can remember back in 23-24 when Ole went away to Nottingham Forest and Chris Wood missed point blank in front of the goal. I got that same exact feeling when
Yeah.
Carvalho missed early in this game again. Mind you, he
Mm-hmm.
having a real good season, but missed early. And until the 40th minute, there actually was a start circulating that you all had created zero chances in the game. However, that is why I signed somebody like Semenyo. And the truth is why, if I didn't sign Semenyo and Gehi, I think we'd have been long gone far from the side race. I think them plus our lack of capitalizing moments have really brought the titles closer. Semenyo, bro, this man have a kind of been player this season. Like imagine that now. Like he had a great first half of the season. They went and signed for the champions, and now it's a big catalyst for them going forward.
Hmm.
However, I do think eventually you'll gain good control of the game. I think for the most of the second half was y'all obviously leading the game, Leeds would have tried some stuff, but nothing really come of it. And in the end, it was the performance I guess you probably wanted from them.
Yeah, because I mean, not just until the 40th minute where we had no chances. We literally had no touch in the opposition box
Yeah,
for a large portion of that game. So yeah, going to Ellen Road is not a easy place
no,
to go
really
to.
not easy. Yeah,
Like
no.
Leeds is show why they keep showing every week why they is a Premier League team that need to stay in the Prem. So but yeah, but for this game, these are the types of games they'll go into, and for the likes of Haaland being out, you're looking for
Yeah, but I
this
thought that was
team.
huge though. I
Yeah,
know he hasn't been scoring as much recently, but just his presence now,
yeah,
is a big mistake.
because from this new formation that Pep is trying, Haaland plays a significant part in it as well, playing off the likes of Semenyo, even when Turkey is there or not there, playing with Bernardo Silva. But to go to Ellen Road and have the
Hmm.
performance, this cage performance, and grind out a 1-0 lead, obviously big emphasis on keeping the clean sheet. It really
Huge,
comes
yeah.
down to you know the recruitment that happened in January. You see, like how he was there to keep that defense solid. Semenyo was that one, was always that outlet. Semenyo has always been sure, even before that goal, he has been showing, he's been making those runs, trying his best to be outlet, and just a lot of players in the back couldn't really find him. So yeah, so I'd also want to say, like, shout out to Chilky as well too, because even for players like this, players for 'cause I feel like this is a type of game you're where it kind of matter for somebody like him, because these are the type of grounds where I felt a lot of people felt that somebody like Chilky would come in and struggle, because how Ellen Road is kind of small, kind of intimate, close to the fans, loud noises, and Cherky did well to control the tempo. He felt he didn't really rush it. He still kept his creativity. He controlled the tempo, something that we would praise Bernardo Silva for a lot. And he really fit into this game. He really had a solid Premier League performance against Leeds. So the way that everything played out, there were a lot of positives. The 3 points obviously huge, but still,
Hmm.
you will still see that there were some struggles. Obviously, when Hall is not the team, you still feel like there were some struggles. You know, Even coming on to when we had the injury to O'Reilly, and then somebody changed that was then we had to make.
They
But
say anything about the injury to O'Reilly by chance?
not none. I haven't seen anything. But the way that how he kind of landed on his ankle too, it doesn't seem like it's something that is that serious. But in
Okay.
those type of body parts, that soreness is something that can really affect players.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, the way that how the players grind it out. Oh, and another thing too, Rodri is a player who is every game coming back. This
Yeah,
man
he's
is
starting
sure
to look more like his own self.
yeah, he's starting to look more like his old self, because there are a lot of question marks
And
as to why.
funny enough,
Mhm.
hmm
Yeah,
no, I was gonna say like I think Nico O'Reilly real help Rodri get back to that level if it makes sense.
yeah,
Cause I think like he's done a real like I know like it come like what they're playing like 4-2-2 kind of with so 4-4-2 diamond rather,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but like I think that his physicality and his athleticism helps make Rodri's life a lot easier because Rodri doesn't have to be all over the place and overly exerting himself. And that's why I asked like if it's serious now because he would be a big miss. Like he's a really unique piece in this whole puzzle because like Ryan does come on film, but Ryan does can't do what Nico Riley was doing in the midfield.
Exactly. Because O'Reilly is
Um,
somebody who the way how his experience in his squad is, he contributes a lot defensively in the midfield and attack. He really
yeah,
contributes all areas of the pitch. So you really hope
yeah.
that he's not out for a long time.
I mean, like I said before, I thought Chucky had a good game in terms of him doing what is asked of him to do. I did think like he did try to create some moments, and honestly, why I think if it was Haaland, I don't know, like on the end of those, I would have scored one or two of them.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think not really same menu, but I didn't think Marmouche was on the same way, like especially Marmouche, but I didn't think he usually on the same wavelength on him at all. But nothing really to report back from this. I mean, the same thing as we said before, right, Virgil? This is about getting the points over the line. You
Mm-hmm.
know, at this point in the season. Funny enough, this is only the second 1-0 win for the season, apparently. Um, I heard them say that on comms, and you all also have won a few games by one goal recently. Obviously, this game, you win the Newcastle game by one goal, well, now we had Liverpool one goal. But it's the margins at this time of the season, bro. And you're just trying to get over the line, right? Because, yeah. You have anything to say about the handball by Nunes late in the game?
Um, Honestly, I feel like after it happened, I didn't really look back on it. So
Okay.
I'm not too sure. Can't really compare what
Mm-hmm.
was the referee decision and everything, but I feel like honestly, when it comes to the refs and stuff, it's really
Yeah,
feel like
bro,
they're just making
that's the
up
thing
things.
ultimately, but it's just super
Yeah,
inconsistent. And
them
I'll
just
talk
make
about that
them making up things
inconsistency in
as they go.
another game later on. But, bro, if I tell you the truth, I want to put Gaety in. I really thought he was really, really good. If you want to put Nuri in, I understand because he did contribute to the clean sheet and he got the assist, but I'll leave it up
Mhm.
to you. Who you want to put in the team maybe for this week?
Based on everything, based on all the games, I would feel I feel Aiden will be somebody who should be in the team of the
Alright.
week.
And I mean, look, a little while ago, it looked like he completely lost his spot in his side, and this little shift in setup has allowed both him and O'Reilly to coexist. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, cool. Moving on now, let's talk about a game that I thought was controversial. It had real goals and real red cards this weekend, but was Man United win 2-1 at Crystal Palace. Now, this is the two worst people to be talking about this because, again, the only caveats in place and neither of us have any love lost for United. And again, I'm going to say, thoroughly fine was all that. Because before the red card, it wasn't anything. After the red card, where the gap penalty, and by the way, I thought Virgil, you can tell me if I'm wrong, right? I thought they had get rid of double jeopardy. Because the man gets set off and the gap pen. I thought they get rid of that. I thought that was nothing anymore.
That honestly, because the first thing I thought about, because when obviously I still, because when the pen happened, I was like, yeah, the main conversations was be don't give the referee, don't make up the referee mind and whatever. He
Yeah.
put his hands on Cunha, so no matter how soft it look, it's a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, you would want to say, oh, he stopped a goal scoring chance or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they award a penalty.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is they get the goal scoring chance, and why? Why the red card? So it honestly just
Valid.
did
Yeah.
not make any sense to me. So it really just after the red card, it just set the tone for the rest of the game. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
you gotta
man.
give credit to United, you also give credit to Palace, but after that red card, it just felt like
It
the
was
game
sitting ducks
was,
somewhere. And I
yeah, that's
mean,
really it.
even that Virgil, dog, I wouldn't lie, that decision don't sit right with man. Again, somebody honest and be like, yeah, well, you see the Arsenal fan don't want to talk about referees again, right? But like LaCroix started pulling from outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fall outside the box. And by the time that he reached the box, he let him go. Now the look Cunha Dunn was preparing to fall on when he go inside, which is his remit, right? Give the fall outside the box. How does he get pen too? Now, if I give it outside the box and you want to give a red, then fair. However, I would then
Yeah.
ask, why didn't he get a red when it is that City played against Liverpool and he did the same thing to Salah? You know, and this is where, like, I'm not here talking corruption or anything, but this is, you just said, right? We talk about inconsistency. It's like, what are we doing? Which is it? Which is it? You know? And the thing is, the irony is that Cunha touch was so bad in that move, Henderson was going to get the ball anyway, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I don't know. But
Because
again, right,
because
you can come
because
across
you
like
would
a
like
game
you would
talk.
like to think that was the argument that Henderson was making, even Henderson was there by the
Yeah.
keeper and was making that because from the keeper's point of view, you really understand from with other cases, but for like for this case, it on I just said it really just feel like a double jeopardy, double jeopardy. So kind of really
Yeah.
just it kind of was done rub salt in the wound for supporters already.
However, credit where it's due. Sesko start his first start on the Carrick, and he scored the winner in this game. It was a great header. I wish I was wrong about him, but he's clearly a very talented player. And Bruno obviously supplied it, scored the penalty. So I guess we kind of obliged to give Bruno it. But like I thought, Sesko took his header really, really well. And to be fair, after the red card, I thought Bruno did have a lot of nice moments creating for others. However, Virgil, to me, you could tell why the man on this team real trying to help Bruno get his assist record because as soon as he passes to them, they want to shoot. Terrible shots
Yeah,
they take in, mind you, eh? But they
yeah,
shoot it. And like shots from all over. The ends are just collecting shots and it's like, dog, I get it, guys. I get it. But, so yeah, Ben Bruno.
yeah.
Alright, so before we move off this, so we should say, and I give credit where it's due, because it's still two sides of the game. I look at the end, you have to take advantage of what's given in front there. United are now third place in the table. They are above on goal difference on Villa, who lost, which obviously we'll talk about in a bit. But they are all the way up to third in the table. Credit to them, and I do think that this play once a week thing real. Now we started to see the benefit of it on the Carrick, where like key players who may not have the athleticism in them to play twice a week, you're seeing that coming out. Like again, I thought Casemiro was pretty good, but Harry Maguire was pretty good. I thought Luke Shaw game was pretty good. And these players that have struggled with that 2 game a week double demand on them before, and you're seeing it come through here. So yeah, anything to say about United being in third before we move on?
Um, but we know United. Yeah, I say you know that United goal was to end the season and make it look and make everything look as better, look much better,
Yeah.
and actually is. So you had to give credit to them because we was talking about Chelsea, Villa, and how they trying their best to sabotage themselves. United is the
No,
only
and
one who
that's the
kind of
thing, right?
capitalize it.
Ultimately, they just taking advantage of the situation at hand.
Basically,
Chelsea was way ahead, Villa was way ahead. This is on them. That the race is even open, and United are definitely taking advantage of that. And I give credit to them. I am not a United fan, so it's not for me to feel um really what's it after for appeased by the performances. I just don't think that I've seen enough for them to then go and say, well, Ari Carrick, you should get a full time job. Like their open play actually was only 0.88 and the majority of that came after the red card. And this is the third performance in a row where yeah they win by 1 goal, one of them they didn't win. That was the West Ham game. But it's the third performance in a row where I felt like again I see the struggle in them actually creating something from open play. And so we'll see where it go. Next two of the big six would be that Liverpool just machine and win a game 5-2, where they scored 3 goals from set pieces. And until Arsenal scored two today, they actually had the most set piece goals scored in the calendar year. But yeah, they just machine West Ham. Ekitike scored and got two on assists, which makes him the person I'm going to perform for this game as well. But nothing else to say. It's been pretty standard by the end. Obviously, we look West Ham, they get them a little fright. When I say fright is probably exaggerated because they only make it 3-1 and 4-2. But then the way this Liverpool season going, if they had we go 4-3, you never know where it might go.
it is
But
very true. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, equity is what I got put in fit and yeah, anything you want to say about it?
I feel like Liverpool. Many of my sentiments for Liverpool is very similar to United. I feel like how the race for top four is with everyone. Liverpool is the one who is taking advantage. Liverpool have the quality. So for them to be
Mm-hmm.
showing it is really like about time. So, but there are still a lot of moments where you feel the Liverpool are all might slip up and show. But you got to give credit to to certain players for stepping in, new players, the actual veterans of the team. But again, I don't know because I didn't watch the whole game, but from what I
Yeah.
saw, I feel like I feel like question marks always there with Salah. I just feel like Salah just
Yeah,
not
but I won't lie.
looking.
It looked like he going outside. But
Yeah,
ultimately, why he's the greatest player in the Premier League era. That's why it is, isn't it? He done. He won his two titles. He won his multiple trophies. If he going out slow, so be it, bro. He give us everything that we could have probably asked for. All right, cool.
mm,
And the last of the big six would be the team. Liverpool beat West Ham, right? West Ham on 25 points. This team is 4 points above West Ham. And it's Tottenham Hotspur that lost 2 goals to 1 away at um, Fulham, where Harry Wilson scored and assisted Alex Iwobi, scored the second goal, another Arsenal player, you know, getting a goal against Tottenham in this week.
mm,
And Dog is getting very scary for Tottenham. It is like it, it is actually unreal. Though. I don't know what to say again. It is actually unreal. What's going on here? Apparently the bookies giving it a 20% chance that Tottenham might actually go down. Um, but yeah, so I mean Harry Wilson is the obvious pick for this, but I don't know if you have anything you want to say about Tottenham. I mean, you would love to see Tottenham go down, right? I mean, there's a
yeah,
part of it I want to see Tottenham go down because it'd be funny, right? But then I'm losing somebody that guaranteed to take 4 points off the team every year.
that's very true. Yeah,
Oh,
because these newly promoted teams did not pushovers.
no, I did not. Did not. But big up Harry Wilson. He's having a fantastic season for the goal and assists here today. But anything at all you want to say, Virgil? Anything at all on Tottenham? Um, yeah, because I mean, it's never seen a relegation race be possible for one of these big six sides. I mean, we see Chelsea chilling on there a few years back. We see United and Tottenham there last year. But you think it possible? You think like it had too much bad teams on there for them to actually get relegated.
Yeah, that's true.
As in, that it had too much bad teams on there.
As a we talk about any relegation battle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like as much as you want to do it, as much as you could say, yeah, it's a very high chance that the way our Spurs play, they could go down. The bar is kind of low there when you with the likes of Burnley and West Ham. So it's had to be those two teams had to come good for that top one.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, cool. Let me speed through the non-big six sides now. So from the games today, the only one was Brighton beating Nottingham Forest. Pascal Grove had a big one in. Obviously, you're playing Forest next, but I mean, Forest just they are also down there. They are not looking good. They obviously sacked their manager a little while ago, Sean Dyche, and the former Wolves manager is now in charge, Vitor Pereira. But that has not done anything for the change in fortunes. They still somehow in the Europa League, but they obviously lost this weekend. They lost to Liverpool. They drew at Wolves. They lost to Leeds. They drew at Palace. Their last win came in a surprise win away at Brentford. It's not looking good. And then Brighton just constantly mid-table. And to represent them mid, we got Pascal Groben, who got an assist and I believe was awarded man of the match. Carrying it back to yesterday now, we have Bournemouth with a 1-all versus Sunderland. The start of this game, I thought Sunderland was really, really, really good, but they couldn't really keep up the intensity that they had going early on. And I think kind of allowed Bournemouth back in the game. But I think Bournemouth on a whole, they also is another team that just kind of in this weird place right now. Where they just look good, they really show much good, and they just do just enough to just get a point across the board every now and again. But yeah, I don't know if I get to watch the Bournemouth versus Sunderland game by chance.
No, I didn't get to watch that game.
My yeah, that did score though. Apparently that was his first goal since the opening weekend. Shaka was back in the lineup as well. In terms of putting forward somebody for this one, um, a centre back, we need a midfielder, forward, and a keeper. I'm trying to think of what really had to cover from this. You know what? I'll go Alert. I thought he was pretty good. Alert. Nice. Moving on now, we have the Burnley dog. Which you know so funny, eh? You had choose Burnley to stay up this week, right? This season, sorry. But dog, it's only like after Burnley lost all hope and all actual possibility of them staying up this year, them develop fight all over again, bro. Like they were 3-0 down against Brentford, managed to bring it back to 3-all. Lost in the last strikes of the game. Tadam Scott goal who scored a brace on this day. But I kind of feel for you, boy. I really do. I mean, that was the player we put in this week, right? But I really feel for you, boy, because I feel like that, like, will it just take a little too long to actually get the goals going for them this season?
That is very similar to the other team who in their last. When it is
That's true.
when
Well,
it is
yeah.
so sad for them to go down, they want to have fight. But yeah, I feel like this is very it's happened a lot at this stage in the season. So, but the
Mm-hmm.
way that how Burnley been struggling throughout the season, yeah, I feel like it's a little too late for them. A little too late for Burnley.
Yeah. And then next up, we had Everton winning at Newcastle. Like, bro, I feel like this season, everybody finally getting to at Newcastle. And three different play. I don't know if you saw the save Pickford made in the dregs, bro, but like a fantastic save that he made. Um, but which I had to ask, boy, do you think Hall could get sacked?
Who, if anyhow?
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, it all comes down to like the
Okay, let me
ambitions
put it
or
like this, right? So they had FA
yeah.
Cup this weekend, and
Hmm.
obviously next week the Champions League, where they had to play Barca, right, with no Bruno G, right, who's probably their only like real top class player, right? We could be looking in 3 weeks, Virgil, where they'll be out of all the cups, and they will
Yeah.
be, I believe they like 11th in the table. They are 13th in the table, and they're 13th in the table.
Yeah, and
Like,
to make it worse, they behind Sunderland. So,
yeah, 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 well,
mm,
yeah, I mean, so more than likely, like seventh or eighth or something, gonna end up being European spots as well, right?
hmm
If they get their act together, they're 7 points ahead. If they go on a run, they probably could. But like, I don't know, boy. I mean, there's also the thing, like there might not be much for them to play for again this season, so it probably don't make sense sacking them.
yeah, yeah,
But
cause that's where I was going at. I was going at if they do, like, let's say in weeks, how much of a week's time they are out of all the competitions. The kind of
mm,
sack Eddie Howe not really going to change the fact that they have nothing really to fight for. It's really about just starting early, start the rebuild from early, and
mm-hmm,
actually looking at what they could do for next season, like looking at those ambitions. But you
yeah,
would feel that, let's say they are out of all the competition, they'll feel that even the high ups and everybody and behind the scenes would give a lot more emphasis, a lot more focus on trying to finish the season strong, finishing a European position at least, because if it does, like, if they are to be out of all competitions and are still in the same position they are right now in the league, and that would just be reflecting on a very terrible season. Because if they are not to push for these European competitions, it would just make the next season, the pressure will just be a
mm-hmm.
lot more for him next season if they do
Okay.
decide to stick with him.
I don't know why. Part of me kind of feel like he kind of wants steal for him, but hey, big up Everton, a huge win away from home.
Hmm.
Just because of what we need, I'm gonna go for Pickford. Because also that save in the end, bro, that was an insane save to keep them ahead in the last minute of the game. And lastly, as which I mentioned earlier, is Wolves, who won 2-0 at home to Villa. Obviously, when I put Gomes in, he got my match, scored the goal as well from midfield, his first goal for Wolves. But
Hmm.
Virgil, as I say, it's a bit too late for them. But for Villa, bro, like Villa's run of form recently has not been good. And
Yeah.
Villa obviously lost this weekend. They drew last time out to Leeds. They got knocked out of the FA Cup. They managed to just squeeze by Brighton, draw with Bournemouth, lost to Brentford. Like, it has completely derailed for them in the last few weeks. And people hate to hear, people talk about stats and stuff like that. But like now they're going through that period of where they was overperforming the extra before and now they're underperforming it and they can't seem to find the goals. And I just feel like Villa was the because of the insane run they went on, they put themselves in such a strong position to get that Champions League football, and now it feel like it's slipping out of this grasp. I was not worried about for them, Virgil. They have a manager who considers himself a Europa League specialist, right? And the Europa League now I think is a lot weaker than it was before, right? He might think to himself, you know what, forget the league, we can win a trophy and win the Europa League, and that's how we get back into Europe, into the Champions League. However, Virgil, the last time Unai Emery tried to do that, puppy, he ended up bottling the top four and he lost the final.
Yeah.
So, you see, wait, anything you want to say on Villa before we wrap up here and just talk about the other
I mean, yeah,
matches?
similar like what we said. Well, basically opposite of what we say in respect to like United, and but yeah, him Aston Villa right now is really trying their best to sabotage themselves, get themselves out. But the way Villa playing, you're looking at how the places are more than likely to be top five.
Yeah.
They honestly not giving me any confidence to be like I want to see all they make that top five because for them to do that, and let's say the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea to be out or United, it really seems like it's just underwhelming. Like
Yeah.
the way that Villa will play in this high tier football and just dropping off, it just seems that like I could do without it. I could really do without it.
Yeah. And so with that, guys, like I said, going to the going. I mean, it's just a bit. It's fight a bit too late for Wolves. I think I'm not sure they're mathematically down. I think at this point they're just playing for pride and credit for them. They have been getting points recently. Some of my own demise. But with that, guys, your team of the week for this week is Pickford in goal and Timber, Saliba, Alarete, and Ait Nuri makes up your back four. Your midfield three is Pascal, Grope, Gomes, and Bruno Fernandez. And your forward line will be Damsgaard, Ekitike, and Wilson. If we left out anybody, please let us know. And so quickly before we talk about Champions League, we're going to just go through Europe this weekend was the Classica. However, as expected, Dortmund went up 1-0. By the end, Bayern won because that's usually how these things go. And I mean, Dortmund had a terrible weekend, guys. I mean, bro, they with strong command and position against Atalanta in the Champions League. I
Mhm.
ended up bottling it 4-1, bro. Like, wow, wow. Ben Sabani putting a man in match performance for Atalanta. Like,
Yeah,
terrible that no one's for
she
them.
did.
Um, in other competitions, Atletico won narrowly 1-0. All of a sudden, Julian Alvarez is back in form. However, Barcelona won 4-1, hosting Villarreal, and Lamine Yamal is up to 18 goals for the season after scoring a hat trick and keeps Barcelona top of the league. Real Madrid are yet to play. I believe they are playing tomorrow. Yes, they are. In Syria, Milan won 2-0 this weekend. However, at this point, Inter are just way far ahead of in the league, and it doesn't feel like anybody's going to catch them as they won again this weekend. But Inter also suffered an embarrassing week by Bodo Glimt beating them at the San Siro. Like, they didn't even need to beat them to qualify, but they did.
Yeah.
And last couple of things is Juventus was 3-all with Roma, with Gatti needing or basically a last minute goal to get the point. And for what is with the table is that Roma stay in fourth, Napoli are in third, Milan are second, Inter in first. I mean, which given that what you all went into the season with as Milan, right? I think you are happy that they are very comfy in the top four, but at one point it did look like it could have been possibly a title season for all, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Milan is at this point in the season makes the the simplest task look so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Dropping points to teams in the relegation, dropping points to teams that they should beat. there were points in time where even early in the season when I remember we started from the draw with Sassuolo. This was early when Inter, Roma and all, when Roma was in the title race, they were slipping up. So at this point, there's too much draws for Milan. So it honestly
Mm-hmm.
getting to a point where it just swinging back to being a runaway title. It's just a matter of when for Inter to clinch the title. But
Yeah.
I feel like not just for Milan, but for like with the majority of the title contenders in this race for the Italian title, you look at like some Milan, Roma, Napoli, they're all just disappointed. Honestly, it just really the title challenge was there, and now it just kind of
Mm-hmm.
just gets fizzled out to just be like regular.
Yeah. With that, guys, we're gonna go over the Champions League as we close off this episode. So, Virgil, I'm going to call out a tie, and you are going to tell me in one word what you think of that tie. Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
So, with that, I need to find them. That would be very helpful. I could have sworn that I had it right here, and somehow, like I deleted it. That's relevant. That's just so. Alright, so dog, I'm not joking. I literally had a picture in front of me, and I don't know where it's going. Alright, cool. First up, PSG and Chelsea.
Mm.
One word.
I would say revenge.
Galatasaray and Liverpool.
Explosive.
Real Madrid and City.
Boring.
Atalanta and Bayern Munich.
Um, hmm. Was I would say interesting. Interesting.
Newcastle and Barcelona.
Mm. For me, lackluster.
Atletico Madrid and Tottenham.
Riot.
Bodo Glimt and Sporting.
Um, hmm. Yeah, fairy tale.
And Bayer Leverkusen and Arsenal.
Dream.
Hey, characters are with that, guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna just go through the what we think about the draw. Look, so we start with PSG versus Chelsea, right? I think both teams are facing each other and what they think would have been the ideal time to face the other one, because I don't think neither team are in a good position currently. Like I watched both of the PSG ties in the Champions League, and honestly, neither one of them filled me with a lot of optimism. Especially compared to the standards that they said last season, it doesn't like Dembele would miss the Chelsea game as well. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, Chelsea not in the best place right now, but so we'll see. I think, but I do think like both teams have an opportunity to get past the other because neither team are in a place they want to be right now. You know, Vujo? What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like you'll obviously go into this and you'll be a comparison to the Club World Cup finals, and just the likes of Chelsea going up against the current holders. But I just say you're looking at Chelsea's form in the league right now. You're looking at PSG's performance in the latter stages of the league format and for the playoff game. So it really looks like, as I say, there is confidence on both sides because PSG doesn't look like PSG. Yes, have the firepower, but if they really look like they really don't look like the best self. And Chelsea's a team where they obviously going into as underdogs, but you really can't see where the spark will come from Chelsea. So that might work out in the favor for both sides.
Next up, we have Galatasaray and Liverpool. Obviously, this is a replay of what was in the group stage, and Gala they get through the end, but they get some help. That was a terrible red card decision on Lloyd Kelly. I cannot believe that man gets sent off for that.
Hmm.
And even with 10 men, Juventus did bring it back to 3 all on aggregate, and it's only extra time that Gala did see it through. But I do think Liverpool are heavy favourites for this, even though they did lose when they went to Gala in the knockout in the league phase. Sorry, but I think now that we are in the business end of it, I do expect Liverpool to get through and go past them.
Yeah, I feel like it's not going to be as easy, but we're talking about a game that's going to play in over 120 minutes. So you really feel that Liverpool, these are teams that they had that experience with each other. They played already, I just mentioned, in the league phase. So, just looking back, just looking at how Liverpool is in good form, the way that how Galatasaray struggle in that playoff round, that could be a lot different
Yeah,
for,
boy.
for Liverpool, who they playing right now. But yeah, I honestly feel that yeah, Liverpool will go into this game with experience, and I feel like they'll find a way
Mhm.
to see it out.
Cool. Next up we have everybody's favorite fixture, which is Real Madrid versus Man City. Which do you recall ever facing Real Madrid before, by chance?
Yep, yep. Hey. At this point, I feel like it's inevitable because
Here
they'll
it is,
they,
here it is, alright. I have a real problem with people saying that, like, oh well, it's rigged or whatever. Like, or rather, like, use this as an excuse for the format not being all that. And I'm like, but guys, if it was a random draw and this had happened, nobody would have seen anything. And in fact, then it probably would have had more credit to saying it rigged than whatever, right? And that has happened in the past. Like, we've had random draws, Virgil, and people get drawn the same and over. Virgil, I played Barca and
yeah.
Bayern every year for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, bro. And if I didn't play them, then Virgil, I played them in the group stage. I got Barca Bayern in the group stage when I didn't get them in the house, that kind of thing. And it's like, I just think people try. I don't get me wrong, eh? I do think that, yeah, there's some things that the forward could work on and thing, but like I do think it has been a massive success. And I think is the only reason that y'all are facing each other virtual is because y'all just managed to make it to the top eight on the
Yeah.
last day. And Real Madrid lost to Olia, lost to Madrid, lost to Liverpool, sorry, lost to Benfica, and put yourself in a poor position that they had to go in the playoffs. And also that in order for the league table to be beneficial, all right, well, the team finished eighth. We had to play against a team that finished like ninth or tenth or whatever, right? Like, for
Yeah.
example, right, people saying that we got a Pharaoh draw, right? Which, I can't deny that, right? But we draw the team that finished 16th, 15th in the league, 15th or 16th, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Liverpool draw PSG, they was within 15th or 16th. That just comes down to how teams perform and how they fall in the table.
Yeah, sure.
This is not a case of people get set up versus the other one now, boy. But I do think on the other side of it, compared to what we talk about with Chelsea and PSG, I think you all are in a good place. I think Vinny's in a good place. I think Trent is in some form. This is famous last words because now they're gonna play this evening. I'll probably play like trash. But I don't think Madrid are in a good place per se. I think you all are in a very good place to take them on now. And I know last year you all got knocked out by them in this exact stage, if I remember correctly.
Now it
Yeah?
was the prior. It was the
It
playoffs.
was the playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs.
So who they had play at this stage, boy?
They
Atletico, no. Wasn't it
they
Atletico? And they got knocked out and they beat out and Atletico got knocked out on pens because Julian Alvarez double kicked the ball?
yeah, I know they play
Yeah,
Atletico,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
think yeah, it was round of 16. Yeah, they went through
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Atletico.
yeah, yeah. Could they play us in the
Yeah.
quarters where they lost because they
Oh,
always
they
lose
play. Yeah,
against
yeah.
us?
Okay, yeah, but they play in the quarter. Yeah, yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, so at least I know you all played them in a playoff last year, but I think they were still riding the high of Mbappe being Mbappe, and I think you all were in a negative spiral. But now I think it's the complete opposite. I really do think that you'll have to go to Madrid first. But I
Hmm.
think once you'll come out of it with anything positive, even as a draw, I really expect you all to see it through in
Yeah, and there are reports that you know, Mbappe might miss the first leg.
I
Even
saw that.
Bellingham right now is on a race to be fit for the first leg. So I mean, don't get me wrong, Real Madrid have it. You have the personnel that they can make do. Because I honestly prefer when they have this style, so you can actually have a kind of feel of how they will line up than them throw these random bodies all over the pitch and this whole makeshift team. But yeah, aside from the fact that I felt that is come on, it's very boring. We've seen this so much times over the season. I wouldn't sit down here and talk about and say this rig or whatever. Yeah, as you mentioned, you got to the stage playoff and it literally was a flip of a coin. It could have gone either way. It could have gone. It was Real Madrid or Bodo Glimt. It's a 50-50 chance. You draw Madrid, there's no way you could go into this and was not expected. That was one of the options. You draw Madrid, and you have to play who's there. So
Yeah.
I'm just glad that the players were able to experience Bernabeu already this season. There are a lot of players who first time playing Madrid and
Alright, you hit
have
them
that.
and some walk over with I want to hear what experience is going on around. I want to know why you're confident you're going to cut their tail and move on to play one of Bayern or Atalanta, which we know is really Bayern. What I
I've,
would say though, Peter, that is not that there's nothing in your favor, but that makes this like whole period real tricky for you all, bro. I won't lie, I saw, because, we fighting for trophies against each other. Like, bro, we're doing all four of these same competitions, right? Um, who would have thought that Virgil back when we started this podcast in that kitchen that we'd be here, we're duking it out straight one off against the other. But
yeah,
in this next 2 months of fixtures for y'all, Virgil, it's rough, boy. Like,
yeah,
because y'all have Forest, which is nothing. Then you have Newcastle in the FA Cup, which
hmm,
is not straightforward. This is a difficult game. Then y'all play Real Madrid. Then I believe y'all have West Ham or something in between,
yeah,
or Everton, something like that, something so in between. But then you'll have the second leg at home. Then you'll have the Wembley final, and then granted that you'll get through that. When you'll play Bayern, you have to play Chelsea, then play Bayern, then no, sorry, you play somebody, then play Bayern, then play Chelsea, then play Bayern again, and then play us.
yeah.
Like that is
That,
something. Not,
I can tell you about it. As much as on paper we look at and say that's a rough fixture, I actually relish in that. I
yeah,
actually
yeah,
am confident about that because going back to what I said, I like the fact that we're going to the Bernabeu first. Players are
yeah,
players
yeah,
who,
of
when they
course.
conquer them.
Mhm.
It is for these players to start putting putting that belt on Madrid and causing and setting out that statement, making
Yeah.
because right now the fixtures is difficult, but there's a lot that the players could do in their hands to make it a lot easier for themselves. For most of these games, you go out and kill it off early, and I feel like we have the personnel to do that. It's just coming down to as I mentioned about the whole my concern is just about the clinicalness and squandering chances.
I
But
also
we
saw
have the
like Pep
personnel.
was real ambiguous stuff about Haaland injury though. He didn't want to say if it's short or long or nothing.
Yeah.
It was random though. It was real
Mhm.
random because like it seemed like nothing and like he was gonna play this weekend and this wasn't the
Yeah.
way he was playing. Cool. Next up we have Atalanta versus Bayern. Like be real, we would expect Bayern to go through.
Yeah. Yeah,
Atalanta
but
did
going through.
extremely well to come back from behind to even be in this position, but I think they got one of the absolute worst draws they could have asked for.
Yeah,
Which
and
which was fine. Well it was either they had played Bayern or us, right? And candidly, I rather that they had played by. But
yeah,
yeah,
they,
so
they did. They did. Yeah, Atalanta did well, keeping the whole Italian flag high. But
yeah, but
before the
Syria ain't looking good right now.
performance, yeah, the performance and
But you know the thing I would also say, Virgil, people say Syria are not looking good right now, but the last two of the last three finalists were Syria teams. It was a Syria team, right? And again, one of them performances was a 5-0, right? So it wasn't a good final performance. But the other one was a real closely contested game. That could have gone either way. The matches went in your favor and you all won the game, right? But like I don't. I agree that you shouldn't sweep a league with a brush just because they had a bad year. You know,
mhm,
like let's be real, like, Virgil, if it wasn't for Real Madrid winning Champions League these last couple of years, what would I say about La Liga? Dog? Like it's
yeah,
been
true.
terrible. So I think we should be a little.
No,
But
but
yeah, as I was
the only thing I just add to that is I don't necessarily feel that the issue that the criticism coming from the performance in like the Champions League really it's really right now in the league because how we get to this point where one of the star players of the season is a 40-year-old Modric. It's just like the one of the best players this season is Modric. So even for this game, even for the knockout, I mean the playoff game against Dortmund, Dortmund honestly terrible in front goal. My goodness, if
yeah,
Adeyemi didn't come on and had that, Adeyemi could have honestly could have killed off that game. But before
mm,
Adeyemi came on, we look at that was poor from Dortmund. So it, honestly, Atalanta going through really just came down to Dortmund just throwing it away. So for them to actually go up against a team who not going to throw it away and not going to play like that, that game going to look ugly. That going to look very ugly for Atalanta.
yeah, can't disagree. Next up, like we say though, it's still Champions League. It's still how to get it done, but very heavy in one side favor. Next up, we have Newcastle versus Barca, and again, I think this is just come at the worst time possible. Like I do think Newcastle had give Barca a little run for their money when they played against each other in the league phase. I do think that missing Frankie is huge for this game.
Mm.
But I'll be so real about to watch them. I'll be so surprised. They are literally the worst time they could possibly be. You know, I'll
Yeah,
be very surprised about to watch them.
yeah. A lot of people go looking at this game and just making comparisons to, oh, Newcastle have give them problems in the league. How much we have so much games played from since then. From right now going into this and this
That's so
two-legged
true.
tie. This two-legged tie coming. I don't care about we looking at okay who was out whatever. Fully strength Barca against fully strength Newcastle. Barca going to go through any like all the time. And this is going to be a game where people are going to there are a lot of views, a lot of eyes are going to be on this game and saying yeah, it's going to be a battle. But as I describe it the way I describe it because I literally feel it's going to be a one-sided game.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Next up, we have Atletico hosting Tottenham. And let me tell you something, Virgil. I have seen Atletico choke a lot of things in European competition. Even them, even them, they can't
Yeah,
mess this up. They can't mess this up. And funny enough, Atletico versus Barca, if that becomes the quarters, this has actually got a favour Atletico the last time that they met up
yep,
against each other in the Champions League. And there is actually Atletico just beat Barca 4-0 in the semi-finals of the Copa del Rey. So yeah, people say there's a give on that Barca managed semi-finals, but it might be. But yeah, if Atletico don't watch them, bro, something really wrong here.
yeah. Atletico just have everything that Spurs can handle. They have the physicality. They are defensively strong. And if they didn't add Lookman in the team, I would say, you know what, I can't really see how it's going. They have the likes of Alvarez
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
Lookman.
yeah. I really like that though. Like Lookman
There.
Solot and Alvarez, I think that's a lot of goals. That's a lot of
Yep.
goals. Next up we have the fairy tale, as you said, Bodo Glimt versus Sporting. Um, bro, I think that Bodo have this real weight advantage because they're playing on this turf pitch, right? You saw it yourself when you all played them and lost. That like the ball just doesn't move the way it moves across normal fields. And because they get to play there the first leg, I think that if they do take a good lead, I think if they just had to go to Sporting and defend out, I think they could get past them. But I think Sporting have done well to bounce back to like how shaky they ended last season. Well, not ended, but how they lost Amarim and they lost Gyökeres and stuff like that, and they finished in the top eight of the Champions League this year. I I think it could be close. However, it could just be all vibes, right? I think I'll see Bodo going through at this point.
Yeah. Because reason why I say that's because, as I mentioned, from just seeing that when we played against them, people underestimate, okay, Bodo Glimt's stadium and that pitch is not. it is smaller compared
Mm,
to a lot of those other European stadiums. So
yeah.
therefore, that's why when teams that will like to rely on width and they play in Brooklyn, you cannot get that width against them. It's a lot of intimate, close space, and I feel like I haven't really seen much of Sporting, but I know that Bodo could. They are really good in close spaces. Like they are really good in those tight spaces,
Yeah.
and everybody plays together. So there's not one person you could say, okay, we're trying our best to double up on him, trying our best to get him out of the game. Everybody plays together. So yeah, I really feel like the fact that they're Sporting, I really feel that they were glad that they got Sporting rather than Man City.
Mhm. And then lastly is Bayer Leverkusen versus Arsenal, the Kai Havertz derby. And
Oh yeah,
I'll be lying to say
and
Hey,
Capia come from
capital,
there
hey,
too.
capital.
Yeah.
Well, Shaka, Shaka went there too, all that thing, right? Look, I'll be lying if I didn't see. No joke when somebody sent me the final thing, Vigil. I asked them if it was AI. Because, like, I couldn't believe what I saw. Like, we do have a very, very good chance again in the semifinals for a second season in a row. And admittedly, the last time we did it the hard way, how to beat Real Madrid and the PSG then. This time, we definitely are the favourites amongst the four on our part of the bracket. And we just had to go out there and get done. Just had to go out and get done. I'm very confident we will. I think Champions League, the team show they can't live with us, represented by the time we won 8 times in the group phase. But this is different. This is not knockouts. This is where the team's going to play a little bit more serious. And if we didn't reach semifinals before, I would have been worried about like pressure getting to us leading up to that.
Mhm.
But I don't think they will. I think these boys will turn up. I think they'll get done. And yeah, bro, it's just crazy, bro. Like I won't lie, this season, as much as I can feel tense at times, boy, I do feel a bit overwhelmed by like it does feel like things are lining up for us to do something really special this year. And if that does happen, Virgil, I'll pay for your ticket to go to our next country because you would not want to be Europe. I promise you, Virgil, I promise you at least once for the week after we win the league, you will wake up home. I'll be outside. I'll just be
Yeah,
outside.
I have no doubts with that. You
And you would have a step back, take a pause, and question many things. Why did my mother let him in?
know.
But I will be
Honestly,
there.
yeah. And I have no doubts.
How you feel? I don't want to do this. I really don't. How you feel about when we do like a live watch along for the Carabao final? I mean, really, I don't want to do it, and truthfully, I don't think I could do it because I said this before. I'm not a fun person to watch football with when it comes to my side. I just be tense. I doesn't talk. I don't ask me no smalls, no nothing. My
That
wife will
yeah,
just
that's it. That's it. Me.
trust
I'd be
dog.
like, I'd be real focused. Cause like
So,
stuff like, cause I like, I don't mind it. I know for a fact, it'll be fun.
but I wouldn't be entertained.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
yeah,
I
that's
know
thing.
it wouldn't be a good watch, dog. I know it wouldn't be a good watch. I's not a man that go and get up and cuss and whatever. Dog. In fact, dog, I just be so tense, especially in the league now, that once we score, I just wait to make sure VAR clear it, and then I just be like, okay, there we go again now. Like I doesn't even like relax fully until the game done. I
Yeah,
think about it.
the only time you'll hear my sentiments on the game is when I was so bro. That whole
You
90 minutes
see,
is just going to be, me just patient, me just
um,
dying inside.
but I mean, look, the Champions League I think it's set up to have some extraordinarily nice ties. And I'm not just saying that because like I get one of heroes, but like, bro, we're looking at y'all versus Real again. We're looking at Chelsea versus PSG rematch in the Club World Cup final, and that sets up really nicely for that. If y'all do get through, that's Bayern versus City or Real versus Bayern in the
Hmm.
quarterfinals. You're looking at Liverpool versus or Chelsea or PSG rematch of a knockout last year, or all English knockout, which I feel like we haven't had in a very long time.
Yeah,
Barca versus Atletico, like bro, like this set up for like a very very nice
yeah.
knockout series.
Because
So with
honestly,
that,
because
guys. Oh no, go ahead, yeah, go ahead,
yeah,
bro.
because honestly,
Last
I
thing.
just like I have no, obviously my sentiments for Arsenal just that's a dream tie for them. But main thing is as much as people, as much as there are complaints, like for me, obviously being involved in it, or the team being involved, as I mentioned too, you can't really hate it because there are a lot of good games that could line up because even on the left hand side, which is the crazy the tougher side, for me personally, would I love to see a semi-finals where I could play Liverpool and get revenge for years. But of course, like I would
This is
love that.
what Virgil, this is what I'm saying because I want
Like
to
that
reach a
would
semi
be.
final and I wanted to be with Barca. I want to play Barca. I
Are you
want
think
revenge
you
for
you tell
all them years, dog.
yeah,
This
because
is what I'm
the first thing
saying.
I thought about is like Arsenal get Barca semis. Well, last of that one, you know. But yeah, but I mean, obviously, you know, my only thing is my only question that with this is just that I know before they started whole new format and everything. I know that. And at some point they used to have after the round of 16, then they'll do like another draw to then determine the party finals.
I
So
don't
like
know. I thought it had an extra after this, but apparently not. I
yeah,
don't know if
but
that
just
changed when they added a few things from last year. Because like last year, you wasn't guaranteed home advantage all the way to the final if you came first. Apparently now, well now that's a thing. You
mhm.
know, so it could be one of those things that they added.
Yeah, yeah. But honestly, regardless of everything, as much as they want to say who get through, who get lucky, whatever and whatever.
No, the thing is, nobody can tell me about lucky. Again, my life is playing peak Messi, peak Robin, and Ribery
Yeah,
in these knockouts from the first asking. Don't tell me, but at the one
yeah,
time I got favorable knockouts. You know what happened? Olivier Giroud happened. Olivier Giroud missed
yeah.
8 chances versus Monaco, bro. So, like, I deserve this, dog. I deserve to be able to breathe. And with that, guys, we'll see you guys next week. Hope you guys have a great week. I hope all the FPL going better than mine because I am just falling down and down and down and down. But with
Nah.
that, catch you guys next time. See you soon. Take it easy and later.